Oh! Oh! Somebody's mirror. Thanks. Which way did it go? What? Copy all. Got it. Thank you. Wrong side of the road. No! Well, that's right, armed carjacking suspect. He's been in the Van Nuys area most of the time, making it kind of difficult for the helicopter to keep up with him. Extremely dangerous. Let's get right to that. This driver is driving extremely erratic. For the most part, no black and whites, no law enforcement really behind him, and that is because they're basically in the area trying to give this person a little bit of room. He's on Roscoe right now. If you know that area, those are those hairpin turns right by the airport, coming up on Balboa. Now you can see these high speeds, these quick maneuvers back and forth. This is a larger car, full-size Chrysler 300. You know, it is kind of a sporty car, but being taken to these types of extremes, and whoa, up onto the curb. Oh, thank goodness there was nobody at that bus stop. This is the type of stuff we've been seeing all afternoon, or off the afternoon since we've been over it, which has been pretty short before we got it on live on television. This guy armed, that's what they're saying. Now that kind of confirmation, we will pick that up later on. But as we understand it, carjacking, again, question mark in my voice, because we're hearing from another source that this may just be a straight stolen vehicle. Right now, though, I can tell you, just by looking at it, extremely crazy driving out here. We've made that turn. We're back southbound on Balboa, slowing down. A lot of traffic out here this afternoon. If you know somebody that's in the area on the streets, give them heads up that this is going on, because no lights and sirens behind this crazy driver this afternoon. In a hurry to hurt somebody, maybe. This is crazy driving. Wiggling, excellent adjective. He is. That car, he's making that thing wiggle. He's hitting that steering wheel so hard it just kind of wobbles around. But he's driving very fast, no regard for any other vehicles. We saw him make contact with one other car, losing a mirror earlier on when he got off of Roscoe. He was on the freeway for just a moment. I don't think that there's any kind of plan to this guy's driving. Basically, what this guy is doing right now is just opportunity. He's driving fast, driving reckless. Whenever he sees an opening, he's going to take it. Still working our way southbound on Balboa. You can see right now, luckily, not that much slowing down. There we go, some black and white starting to get behind him. Satakoy, the next cross up here. It is extremely busy out here in the valley all the time this afternoon. It is probably more than moderate traffic. Continuing on, though, driving a little bit more conservative, if that's a good word right now. But this chase definitely continuing on. At least one black and white behind him. A dangerous suspect. Does he have a gun? Is he armed? You know what? He's dangerous because he's driving reckless with that car this afternoon.
Yeah, and Stu, it does sound like he has a weapon. That's the initial call. This came in as a carjacking. An armed suspect behind the wheel of that Chrysler 300 right now, making his way through the San Fernando Valley, south on Balboa right now, going extremely fast. Here he is approaching an intersection with cross traffic, and Stu, looks like he made it through.
He made it through, and he gets lucky almost every time. You're really moving along with that car. Like I said, Chrysler 300, everybody, it's a pretty common vehicle. If it has that V8, it is very powerful. You know, the law enforcement, they looked at having those cars for their police cars, but they said it's just too torquey, if you can believe that, meaning it has too much power. Right now, though, we made that westbound turn. We're in the Lake Balboa area. I always get these confused. I'm just being honest. I think we're on Van Owen right now. No, we're on Victory right now. That's what I always get confused, Victory or Van Owen. But we're definitely westbound. We're over here by the dog park. It's continuing on. White Oak's going to be the next cross. And you can see what I'm talking about. not. He's just using opportunity. Wrong side of the road, avoiding another collision right there. And this is what's making it so dangerous. And again, just high speeds this afternoon, trying to get away from the officers. They have the helicopter overhead. They have one unit behind them. But this person, dangerous. They need to get this person off the streets.
Yeah, you're watching Stu Mundell covering this live pursuit for us, now making its way through the Van Nuys area as we watch this guy just making some really dangerous moves.
Wrong side of the road. Wrong side of the road. Got a little squirrely.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you're just joining us, live coverage on CBS 2 and KCAL 9 of a high-speed and very dangerous pursuit right now in the Van Nuys area. He was southbound on the 405, now on surface streets, wrong side of the road, up on the curb at some parts, and just driving extremely dangerous through very heavy traffic. A lot going on with this pursuit, and as we said, very dangerous. Let's go back up to Stu Mundell. Stu, this guy, it seems like he's getting more erratic and even more risky.
More erratic. This is basically what we've been seeing the whole time. Believe we're on White Oak right now. We're going to be northbound on White Oak. We just passed through Van Owen. The next major is probably going to be Sherman Way. You know, what can you do? What can the officers do to bring this to an end? They've been trying to do this, kind of just letting it go a little bit, just relaxing, just falling back. Just went Sherman Way right there, but you saw that. It just blew right through that light, no regard. Very lucky for the public that nobody's been injured. This driver, no regard this afternoon, or that's the way it seems. But how are they going to bring this to an end? That's the big question. LAPD coming up to another intersection. You see those brake lights coming on. Hard turn. Hoppo! There you go. That's another car he hit. Oh, jeez. And now you're seeing some damage to the front of the car right there. We're going to swing the helicopter around a little bit.
Stu Mundell on CBS 2 and KCAL 9. This is breaking news coverage of a very dangerous pursuit through the San Fernando Valley off the 405 on surface streets now in Reseda. The vehicle has been involved in at least 2 accidents. You can see the side mirror there flopping around. He's been up on the curb, wrong side of the road, and really just wiggling his way through these intersections, just unbelievably dangerous. Let's go up to Stu Mundell. Stu?
That's right. You know what? Did you see that accident? I feel bad for those people that were on the other side of that. Front of the car now very damaged. You can see that front fender, the driver front fender, just crumpled up. A lot of smoke. Whoa! Oh! You know, you just, every time we go through those intersections right now at these high speeds, I'm just thinking to myself, please, 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 nobody in that intersection. He's continuing on right now. You can see that car doing what you're saying, wiggling, even higher speeds now that he's been in that collision. Parts of the car coming off as he's driving. Tires, they seem to have held through that crash. Coming up on Balboa, we're on Satacoy. And through Balboa, and this is in this street right here. There's a big hairpin coming up. He's going to have to make some kind of hard maneuver. And he's keeping up these high speeds. We're going to stay a little bit wider. I'm just hoping that there's no other people that are going to be involved if this comes to a crashing end. There's the turn right there. That's going to be Havenhurst. That's going to be a hard turn, and he's swinging it around on Havenhurst right there, and it's continuing on, heading back over towards Sherman Way. So you can see how fast this guy's going. Now the car is damaged, armed. I am just at a loss for words. I couldn't imagine being law enforcement in this situation, what to do to keep the public safe. This person, a complete menace. We've seen several collisions. One I would call more than moderate. Coming up on Sherman Way, just past, yeah, we already passed it, past Sherman Way, and just continuing on now, southbound on Van Owen, extremely high speeds this afternoon.
Yeah, Stu, this is just really difficult to watch. It is making me extremely nervous. It's hard to tell how fast this guy is going because he's just blowing by the traffic out there. Wrong side of the road again, through another intersection, and that's what we were afraid of.
Oh, the car is stopped. Guy is out right. He has a weapon, or he has something in his hands. Can't say for sure if that's a gun, but he has definitely something in it. He just put it in his pocket. Could have been a cell phone. But this is what officers have to deal with. Gosh only knows what he had, but he was definitely holding on to it. In his pocket, in his right-hand pocket, officers from LAPD coming up on him right there, taking him into custody. A little bit of a struggle. He's down on the ground. We'll find out if that was a weapon or a cell phone, but some scary moments for sure. LAPD, wow. Wow, what an end for this. Bringing this thing to an end right now. We're going to check on those other drivers here in just a moment, but definitely some tense moments right there. It's going to be Van Owen and Havenhurst is where that last accident happened. Carjacking suspect.
All right, yeah, Stu, it looks like the vehicle that was involved in that collision did not take as much impact as the suspect's vehicle, because that's the car that really spun out there and then hit the light pole. Again, the end of a pursuit. This is Van Owen and Havenhurst in Lake Balboa. This guy was driving extremely dangerously through the valley, and quick work by LAPD, because as soon as this guy was out, he got about 2 blocks and they were right on top of him, Stu.
You know, and that is law enforcement. This is our LAPD. You know, sometimes they get a bad rap, but they are our LAPD. They protect us out here, and this is what they were doing. We've been having all these talks about pursuits and how to handle them. They were in the area. They weren't right behind them. They were ready to pounce when the opportunity presented. It presented, and they took this guy into custody. We're going to move Sky 9 around just a little bit here to get a little better shot of that suspect, and then, of course, I want to take a look and make sure that those innocent people that were involved in that collision are okay. But wow, what an ending for sure. LAPD bringing this to an end, and you know, hopefully just minor injuries to some public, but that suspect this afternoon in custody for sure.
Yeah, when we were watching this, Stu, it was kind of inevitable how this one was going to end. He was just driving with no regard for anybody else on the streets, just going extremely fast. You see right there, he was up on the curb and just barreling right through intersections, ignoring all the traffic laws out there. Sometimes he actually made it through the intersection, but unfortunately this did end with a collision involving another car. You see it right there. Again, this is Van Owen and Havenhurst. This was a suspect who was wanted for carjacking. We do believe that he had a gun, and Stu, you said you saw something in his hand when he was trying to get away there.
You know, that is what, you know, we saw something in his hand. It was something important enough that he took with him. Was it a cell phone? Was it, you know, gosh, was it his wallet? You know, I couldn't tell, but I did see something in his hand. Of course, we kept hearing that this person was armed, so keeping an eye out for something like that. But this is what our officers have to deal with, too. They're humans. Of course, they're trained for looking out for those types of things a little bit better, probably much better than I. So he did have something in his hand. We don't know. We haven't heard anything as of yet. I haven't seen any officers with any kind of weapon, but that'll all come out in the wash. But it just shows you how dangerous these things, it is deadly. It is a deadly situation if you are in a situation presented like that where they believe you're armed and then you have something in your hand. It may just compounds over and over. Our guys in blue this afternoon really handled it well, took him into custody, and now he's cuffed right there. Going to take a look at the car and see how it looks, but you can see the numbers of officers that were in the area when this pursuit came to an end. There's what's left of that car. A crashing end, very dramatic for sure. Hopefully no civilians were injured in this whole disaster that happened out here this afternoon.
Yeah, as you said, great work by the LAPD. You could see one of those officers pat another one on the back there. At the end of this pursuit, it ended with a crash at an intersection in the Lake Balboa area. Another vehicle involved. There you see the suspect's vehicle. Of course, we will have the very latest on what happened here and what happened to the people in the other cars that were involved. That's coming up on our CBS 2 News at 5 and on KCAL 9 News at 4 o'clock. We'll see you in less than an hour.